I've got something special up my sleeve for May. Don't go away. Hello, everybody. It's Paul from That Guy Productions, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Today, for the May 3 Blind Mice build, I have a fun concept. We're going to see if I can pull it off, so let's get right to it. This is a great casting and a car you surely would have seen as a hot rod in my heyday, the late 70s. So that will be the basis for my build. I'm thinking about melding a 70s hot rod with some of the styling of a modern day car. Of course, to start, we have to get the car apart so we can take a look and see what we have to work with. My very first notion is to jack up the back of the car and pull those rear tires out of the quarter panels. So, even before hitting the stripper, I'm going tire shopping. It took a while, but I finally found some great dog dish wheels, and this gave me the vision for the rest of the build. After a bit of test fitting, I dropped the body into the warm liquid goo and can now turn to the glass. This is something I've always left until later in the build, which I started to realize seems to be the totally wrong place for it. I need to drop it in earlier so it's done and dry when I'm ready for it. All I needed to do was give the glass a little bit of a wash, and then I can dip it in the gauzy and leave it to dry. The body was in the goo for about 24 hours, so I can go ahead and pull it out with confidence. Sure enough, the paint is just falling off. After shaking off the excess stripper, I run this to the sink, give it a good wash, and brush it down with a toothbrush. So I'm back and the car is all clean and scrubbed. So now we can go ahead and try and bring the paint job I've envisioned to life. To start, I decided I wanted to shave the car, so I used my rotary tool and files and some sandpaper, and I got rid of the door handles and the side trim. Now I throw on some Tamiya fine primer and do a lot of sanding to get the car smooth and nice and ready for paint again. Shaving the car and the basic concept for the paint job are a bit more modern, and they're part of the marriage that I'm trying to pull off between old school and new modern cars. With all the sanding done, I'll give the car one last coat of Tamiya fine primer and set it aside to dry. Now I can pay attention to the base and the car's stance a crucial part of my vision, and it's also a place I'm going to encounter a shit ton of problems. I snip away one tab holding the original axles in and pop them out of the base. This is how the car would have looked had I just used the original axle groove. The tires I chose fit great and it actually looks pretty good. It's just not the styling I'm looking for. I felt like there was enough material in the base to lower the axles by deepening the groove from the top of the base. So that's what I did using my rotary tool. Not only does this fail to get the stance I want, but I ended up going so deep that eventually the base is going to break. It's holding up for now, but sure enough, it is going to come apart. As I'm making this video, I'm still waiting on a new car to get a replacement base, but hey, the show's going to go on and I'll go ahead and live with the broken one for now. Before I realized that the path I took wasn't going to work, I made an axle tube from brass tubing and superglued it to the base, and I hated it. The car just did not look the way I wanted. So I realized I was going to have to start all over, working from the bottom up to get the look I craved. Well, at least for now, everything's holding together and the car looks exactly the way I want it to. So now I can turn my attention to the paint job. It's my plan to go for kind of a half murdered out look. The glass, the lights, bumpers are all going to stay original, but the car will hopefully sport a flat black finish and a great glossy black stripe to tie the car to the gloss black in the wheels I'm going to use. I start by painting the car a gloss black with some Tamiya X1 thinned with leveling thinner and Tamiya X20. This will make the stripes later, so it's important that I get a smooth and glossy finish here. There's no cutting corners when you want a good paint job. Start with the tack coat, then your medium coats, then your wet coats. I can't say this enough. Too often I see guys just laying the paint down. That is a recipe for runs and disaster. Once the gloss black paint is thoroughly dry, I can mask off the stripe and then give the car a new pass with Tamiya XF1 flat black paint. Now to get a nice, even and consistent stripe, I'm going to mask the hood, the roof, and the trunk all with one piece of tape, and then I'll cut it at the windows and rub it down. Here's a quick little tip for you though. Put your tape down on your cutting mat, rub it down and peel it off. This will take just a bit of tack off and make sure that you don't peel anything up that you don't want to come up later on. With the single piece of tape run equally from the front to the back, I can now press it down where I can, and then I will cut it at the windows and press it the rest of the way down. This is going to make sure that I have a nice, even, consistent stripe from the front to the back. Now it's back to the paint booth for the Tamiya XF1 Flat Black. I really want to use a light hand here. I want to get the car flat black, but I don't want to get a built-up edge where the tape is. The flat finish is coming out great, and so now I can go ahead and clean up my airbrush. You know my credo. Once the airbrush is clean, I pull the tape off. And look at the finish I'm getting here. It is looking perfect. This is exactly what I was shooting for. You actually are watching right now a video made by a guy who might be the stupidest man you've ever seen. Yes, I did it again. I forgot to drill out the posts. So here I have this phenomenal paint job on this car. I'm not really entirely sure how well the flat will hold up over the layer of gloss. So I don't know how fragile this is or anything like that. And yet I have to go back, drill, and tap the post. Man, I am so stupid. In the end, though, everything works out fine. I lucked out, and the car survives my stupidity. Now, broken base and all, I can go ahead and slap this thing back together. I'm leaving the base in two parts while I put it back together, and then I'll glue it after the two sides are screwed together to make sure everything is aligned properly. I don't want to glue it together and have it not fit right. Again, remember, I do have another car coming, and I will be replacing the base as soon as it gets here. In the meantime, I can go ahead and put everything back together. In goes the glass, the interior, and both parts of the broken base. I probably could in fact leave the car the way it is, but that would just wear on my OCD, so for sure, when the new car gets here, this base is getting changed out. With everything back together, I can now go ahead and paint the base black, paint in the taillights and the headlights, and I can call this car done. Welcome to this beautiful car that I'm calling White Hunter Black Heart. I hope you love it. Well, there she is, White Hunter Black Heart. Man, I love this build. Absolutely my all-time favorite build ever at this point. I don't know if I can top it. I really love it. And not just because it came out great, but also because it's a car that I would own and drive. I would love that thing. Anyhow, I hope you loved it too. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and click subscribe. Click the bell and you'll be notified anytime I release a new video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love to hear from you guys. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, I hope you have an amazing day filled with success and happiness and things that put a smile on your face. This is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.